You're listening to The Pete Shepherd Show.
Swings, he'll tag this one. There's a drive out to right. It is deep, and it is gone. In the blink of an eye, the Red Sox take a 1-0 lead. His sixth. Swinging a high fly ball centered field, backing up Cowser, backing up to the wall, leaping, and that ball is gone. Home run. Jaron Duran with a 3-run blast to center. And the Red Sox are on top with another home run.
So they need, baby. Welcome to another edition of the Pete Shepherd Show here on the Coastal Sports Awesome Digital Network. I added the awesome in. How's everybody doing today? Great win by the Red Sox last night. Mets finally come back from a 3-0 deficit. Somehow they scored 13 unanswered. We got so much NFL news to tell you about. I'm not sure we can make it through the first hour without getting through everything, but man, it's great to be here on a Tuesday. Thanks for checking us out across the awesome Coastal Sports Digital Network video platform. As you know, we are now on the Odyssey app as well. Hello, everybody. Thanks for checking us out. Also, as always, on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, CSD NFL, LinkedIn, and the awesome SR1029, The Game sports radio app right there. Call or text the show 727-858-6650. Man, oh man, we got a lot to talk about. Great show lined up for you today. Hector Longo at 8:05 from the Eagle Tribune with the Patriots. They got I think they're off today, but today is a huge day in the NFL because everybody has to be down to the 53-man roster by 4 p.m. Tick-tock this afternoon. The lovely Mia O'Brien, now of ESPN national radio fame, will join us with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll get her take at 8:30 this morning. Mario Cristobal, we will hear his presser from yesterday, courtesy of WQAM in Miami. How all the cuts, thanks to Trevor Harris for sending me them, about his thoughts on not only Carson Beck, the offense, the defense, and, of course, preparing for Notre Dame this Sunday at 7:30 at night. Cleveland trades. We got so much NFL news. Cleveland trading quarterback Kenny Pickett to the Raiders for a 5th-round pick next year. Also, the Jacoby Myers wants out. He wants to be traded from the Raiders. I welcome back to the Patriots. I would, with open arms. Micah Parsons still unsigned, and I don't think he will be, not for week 1 anyway. The Washington Commanders signed wide receiver Terry McLaurin finally to a 3-year and $96 million extension with a $39 million bonus. And the Bengals give defensive end Trey Hendrickson not an extension. They give him a raise of $14 million. So he'll make $30 million this coming year, and we can go through all this bullshit again next year when he becomes an unrestricted free agent, which he will be at the end of next year. So instead of maybe the Bengals trying to do the right thing and keep the guy who's led the league in sacks the last 2 years around for a little bit longer, they're going to play these games next year all over again. So, as they say, if you don't learn from history, those who, they're doomed to repeat it. The Micah Parsons things, it's funny. I've also got, let's see, we got some broadcasting news as well. I'm not talking about the great news of us being on Odyssey. By the way, thank you for all the social media compliments to Angel and myself. And it's 99.9 Angel. Angel did this. I just do this. Angel's the one that puts all this stuff together, technology and all that stuff. And he deserves 99.99999% of the credit. With that, we say good morning to Angel Martinez. You, my friend, are expecting more rain today. We are as well, and around 2-3 o'clock this afternoon, but it looks like the heavier stuff coming up yonder, your way, up Tampa. But good morning, man. How you doing?
Good morning, Pete. I am good, and yeah, we're expecting more rain once again. We had so much rain last night. I just think there's a fire hydrant above the house, and it's just on blast because it's ridiculous. But you know what? I guess it could be a lot worse. But we have more rain coming. Supposedly tomorrow we're going to get a break from it. I don't even know what the sun looks like anymore because it's just been gray for 6 days straight.
The sun didn't come out at all up there yesterday? Nothing?
Nada. It came out like it's Jesus. Yeah, for like 2 seconds. You know, like when you were a kid, you go, nah, 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 nah. That's pretty much what the sun did to us yesterday. So, yeah, that's what we get. And good to hear also from Gas Pump Guys. He says, good morning, fellas. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Let's go Bucks. Not so much Canes. No, not so much Canes. Let's go Bulls.
We said, let's go Canes.
Yeah, no, we go Bulls.
Well, hey, I want to see USF do well. Big game coming up, so you must be excited. You're broadcasting at Tampa Joe's on Friday, the day after, but 5:30 in the afternoon. The entire country on Thursday will see USF host number 25 Boise State. That should be a fantastic game. And I'm going to assume at Ray J, it'll be pretty close to a sellout, no?
Yeah, oh yeah, it usually is. What I appreciate, I think, the most is when I go, grab my credential, go upstairs, put myself in the press box, and then I come back down and talk amongst the folks out there, the tailgaters. I dare to say that USF tailgating is 1,000% better than the Bucks tailgate because they don't care what school you come from. It's like Boise State, come here, come join us, come grab a dog, a burger, whatever. But some of the trailers, like, how they have that show, the, what is it, small houses or mini houses, whatever.
Yeah.
So there's two different guys that have one about the same size as a mini house and the other one like half of it, but he's got like a bar style and it's got a flip down TV screen, it's the coolest setup. But I mean, their tailgate is absolutely fantastic, and the food smells. Like the one guy goes out there. He went the last, I want to say 3 home games. Didn't ask for a dime, and you had your choice of burgers, ribs, dogs, and the only thing he cared about was like before you received your food was to do a little circle with 3 other guys and basically do a quick prayer to bless the food. And then he was like, "All right, here you go." I'm like, "Are you kidding us?" No.
First of all, I'll give you 15 minutes of prayer, but one thing, I'm getting all of the above. Everything you just mentioned. It's not just a choice. All of the above. ATB. Or ATA, I should say.
Yeah. It's good stuff, though. It's such a great time out there at USF. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking more forward to the new stadium when it's done by 27-28 because they now have some of the iron pillars up. And looking how quick they were able to clear the field and then put stuff up there, it's going to be great. And our booth will be set up somewhere in the middle.
I will start off with a grinding my gears segment. This came out last night, and this really sucks. And it sucks for people like myself who have YouTube TV because I might have to change. YouTube TV said yesterday, everybody who's got it got an email. I don't know if you saw it, who has YouTube TV, said it is in a carriage dispute with Fox. And I mean all of Fox. Fox, regular Fox, Fox News, which I don't give a shit about, FS1, F1, 2, all of that. So they're in a dispute with Fox, and they've notified customers like me that they have until tomorrow, August 27th, to reach a deal, or subscribers will lose access to Fox stations right before the NFL and college football seasons kicks off, which means Saturday I would have to change my service, which goddamn well I will, if it is not done by tomorrow. That really, really sucks. So that means for some people, will not be able to watch Ohio State coming up. Speaking of Ohio State, can you believe those numbnuts out there? They banned David Portnoy. Dave Portnoy is supposed to be part of the Fox Big Game Day this year with Barstool. And they banned him. And I don't know if Fox is going to take, I don't know if they can file some kind of injunction about it, but what a bunch of wuss bags in Columbus for doing that. Just because Dave's a big Michigan fan. Look, I think he would show a moniker of decorum during his stint there. I don't think he's going to come on his debut on Fox and say, Ohio State sucks and this is that and such, suck, you suck, and suckity suck. I don't think he's going to do that. But you wuss bags at Ohio State, don't let him in. Shame on you. Shame on you. That'd be like Michigan kicking out Herbie. Herbie said, Herbie's an Ohio State guy. They let him into Michigan. I don't know. It doesn't seem right to me. But this YouTube TV thing on Fox sucks. So I've already done my homework. And if this is not done, goodbye YouTube TV. I will sign up for Fubo tomorrow. And not only that, it may end up being better It's just around the same price for the sports channel, and the sports channels that are included, which you don't get on YouTube TV. For me, anyway, you get NHL Network, you get MLB Network, which you do not get on YouTube TV. I have the package through Amazon for MLB. But also on Fubo, you get NESN. I would get NESN, which means I could see all the Bruins and every other games that they show on NESN instead of getting any NHL package. And they show NBC Sports. They have NBC Sports Philadelphia. They have NBC Sports Boston. They have out in San Francisco. So you get all those RSN stations as well. So that's my Celtics. And I can watch the 76. All those RSN stations that are local NBC Sports stuff, I get them all through Fubo. I can go on 10 televisions at 10 devices at once and not worry about it. NFL Network, same thing, Red Zone, all that stuff can be included. It's just around the same price what I'm paying now. And I can't believe, it still amazes me. And and this was the kicker, Angel. I don't know, did you see the article at all? Guess how much YouTube said? If they lose Fox, guess what they're willing to refund to every single customer? Like
$2.10.
You're not far off. Triple that. $10. $10.
What?
You get a $10 discount as a YouTube TV subscriber, which I have been for the last 3 years. Very loyal. But the best part is the bill gets taken out of my account every month on the 29th. So tomorrow's the 27th. So fuck you if you don't get it done by tomorrow. I will have Fubo TV on by tomorrow night, if that is the case. I hope it does. I hope it gets done. But you know what? If it doesn't, there's a lot of other options out there. I can't believe they're that stupid, that greedy. And I wish I knew the exact details of what Fox is asking and why it's on Fubo and Hulu TV and all these other outlets. Why YouTube TV is having an issue with it is beyond me. I really don't know. I don't know the whole logistics of it. I know is they are so dumb if they can't figure this out and keep all the Fox affiliates. And all I care about is the sports. I care about Fox, watching college football, FS1, FS2. That's what I care about. But that is absolutely unbelievable if this goes through. It doesn't go through. So it affects Fox, FS1, the Big Ten Network, Fox News Channel, and more. So yes, it does affect the Big Ten Network, which is also part of the Fubo sports package as well. Why it's not affecting all of these outlets, I do not know. But for some reason on YouTube TV, I don't know. It's because now my understanding, the next question is, well, if you have the NFL package, which you have to get through YouTube TV, like I do, does it affect the games, the ones that are on Fox? Now it should not. I haven't seen officially yet, but that should not. You should be able to get the NFL games that are the NFC games that are on Fox and a couple of the AFC games as well. But nevertheless, it affects Fox, FS1, Big Ten Network, Fox News Channel, and a whole lot more. That stinks.
But I thought the whole thing when ESPN and the whole thing with the NFL Network, them taking it over, I thought with the new app development, the way they made it was you were supposed to get like every game under the sun under the new ESPN.
No, this has nothing to do with that, Angel. This is totally separate. This is strictly Fox. It's like when DirecTV had an issue. They had an issue with a couple of stations in the past, even NFL Network or NFL Red Zone. There was an issue. This has nothing to do with the ESPN's thing. This has to do strictly with YouTube TV and their negotiations with all thing Fox. This happens before. This has happened on every cable system I've ever been a part of. When I first moved down here, Xfinity didn't have the ACC network. Why? For some stupid, unbelievable reason. God only knows why. They only got it the third year, and by then I had moved to Fort Myers from Bonita Springs. But that's the kind of shit that goes on. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, there are certain, for whatever reason, there's certain bargaining chips on certain networks and whatever it is. Why Fox? Why this is only affected on YouTube TV and not Fubo and not Hulu and DirecTV. You can get DirecTV as well on an app and have all these stations as well. I don't understand it. I don't. And I can't believe that YouTube is going to let Fox slip away entirely. And I'm speaking strictly from a sports point of view. I don't care about the rest. All I care about is me being able to watch the games that I want to watch. But nevertheless, they must also realize and I've seen all the responses already, and 99.9% of the people are going to vacate. Let me just read this bullshit. To our members, in order to bring you the best in live sports news and entertainment, YouTube TV partners with content providers like Fox. Our agreement with Fox is nearing renewal, and we're actively negotiating to reach a fair deal for both sides as well as our subscribers. Our goal is to keep Fox content, including channels like the Fox Broadcast Network, Fox News, and Fox Sports on YouTube TV. We hope to reach a deal, but we want to be transparent that if we're unable to reach an agreement by August 27th, their content may become unavailable. If we can't reach an agreement with Fox, content becomes unavailable for an extended period of time, we will offer our YouTube TV subscribers a $10 credit. First of all, if they can't reach an agreement by tomorrow, try to get at least an extension. I would hope that would be the case. But you never know with this stuff. But it's really frustrating for those of us who have YouTube TV. It is and it isn't, because you can sign up for another network just like that. I can drop YouTube TV right after the show. Takes 2 seconds. And sign up with Fubo, and that takes 2 seconds also. Anyway.
I think it's just always insane when they want to wait until, a week and a half, before the kickoff of the NFL season to make everybody switch. I just think it's.
But you're onto something. That's right, because that happens all the time. That's what happened with DirecTV. Was it the NFL? I can't remember if it was Red Zone at a couple of years ago. They went through the same thing. It's like Micah Parsons' contract. What gets done first? YouTube TV re-signing with Fox affiliates, or is it going to be Micah Parsons playing for the Cowboys in Week 1, which I think is not near impossible.
Yeah. It's going to be YouTube TV first.
Yeah, I agree. All right, the Red Sox win last night. We got a ton of football news to get to as well. The Red Sox win last night. Let's get to both the. Let's get the video of both the home runs, I believe. And by the way, great stuff from Roman Anthony. Became the youngest player. I'll give you the stat in a second. He had Durant at the 3-run blast. Where is the? Oh, here we go. Here, let's scroll down, Angel. It's actually right above the YouTube TV story on NESN. The leadoff home run for Roman Anthony last night in the first inning at Orioles Park at Camden Yards.
He went more four-seamers against you up in Boston.
Roman swings. He'll tag this one. There's a drive out to right. It is deep, and it is gone. In a blink of an eye, the Red Sox take a 1-0 lead. His sixth. All over that baby. As he jacks that one into the bleachers. 1-0. Sox in front.
That's a good start. Roman Anthony, with his sixth of the year, jumps all over this. 410 to right field. 107 off the bat. Sagano trying to sneak a little 93 up and in. And Roman Anthony had nothing. He went more four.
All right, so it made it 1-0 top of the first. Colton Cowser had a nice night. He had a solo home run in the bottom of the second that tied it at 1. And then he had the go-ahead at the time, 2-run single in the bottom of the third that put Baltimore up by a score of 3-1. But then Jaron Durant came up in the top of the fifth inning and did this.
Swinging a high fly ball center field, backing up Cowser, backing up to the wall, leaping, and that ball is gone. Home run. Jaron Durant with a 3-run blast to center. And the Red Sox are on top with another home run. And for him, number 13.
I was saying those first two at-bats, you liked what you saw from him. Kind of looked, there was conviction in those two ABs, right? Hitting that ball hard the other way, sticking with a game plan in second at bat, drawing walks, knowing what he's looking for here from Sagano, and he gets his pitch. He drives it out to right of center field. I wasn't sure if this ball was going to get out because I wasn't sure if the ball's carrying to that ball at the ballpark. Got to get him going, boy. He is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all the runs that were scored in the game. And then the Red Sox bullpen took over at the end. Martz, Whitlock, and Chapman with another save. He was absolutely outstanding once again. But a little setback for Richard Fitz, so everybody loves. He's like a fan favorite. He went for, and it was an impressive win by the Red Sox last night because it was a bullpen game. They didn't have any fifth start. Barandino pitched the night before in relief, pitched an inning, gave up a hit, struck out two, looked good. Then Fitz came in, went 4 innings, gave up 3 earned runs. After we'll get to him in a second. He talks about he was a little dinged up afterwards. But if we could scroll down, Angel, or up to. Not Richard, where is it? We'll get to Durant in a second. I want to get, where is it? It's, I want to get to Roman Anthony first. Okay, here it is. Roman Anthony, after finding out he's the youngest player in Red Sox history to hit a leadoff homer. Right under the nets.
Yippers.
Just being ready from the first pitch. Got to face that guy a few weeks ago. So just taking what I know from the last time I faced him, and like you just said, being ready from the first pitch, trying to find a way on, and got a good pitch to hit.
How much did that inform this particular plate appearance against Sagano? Because he was tough against you guys in Fenway.
Yeah, I think anytime you get at-bats in the past against somebody and you can look back at video and see the way that they kind of attack you, I think that always helps. But for me, again, it's just trying to set the tone from the get-go and being the leadoff guy, trying to find a way on or trying to get a good pitch to hit and, not miss it. And I did a good job of it right there.
You've done that many times in the minors, but how it feel just to do it for the first time in the majors?
Yeah, it feels great anytime. They all feel great. So, but getting to do it and kind of lead it off and set the tone there, it's a good feeling as the leadoff guy, get things rolling and knowing the lineup we have and the guys we have behind me, just when you're able to do something like that, it's usually going to be exciting.
You were the youngest Red Sox ever with a leadoff home run. What do you think of that?
It's pretty cool. It's good. I like that. Sweet. Thanks for letting me know. But no, that's great.
Actually, I didn't know that myself. I thought the late great Tony Conigliaro had that record. He might have up until that point. But great stuff from Roman Anthony. And if we could scroll down, Angel, and get to Jarren Duran, it's one under Fitz. We'll get to Fitz after this. But Jarren Duran, also courtesy of Nesson, talked about just playing for the Red Sox. And after that game-winning 3-run homer against the O's, happened in the 5th.
All right, thank you. Well, Jarren, this team has won in a variety of ways, really diverse with the way you guys were able to find your way to victory. How nice was it to see you guys do it here tonight with an opener and see the Pen lock it down?
Yeah, I mean, they're a really good team, man. They really swing it, and they can pitch really good. So whenever we can compete with them and beat them on the road, it's always a good thing.
Sagano had been tough on you guys in his Fenway start. How much did you download kind of the information from that one as a team and change the approach and feel good about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of helped in our favor that we faced them so recently, and we were able to kind of make an adjustment and come back and face them again. So credit to our hitting staff. They're always honest about making good adjustments, and we made some good ones tonight.
Take me through your third plate appearance against him, the home run, the 3-run shot. How much were you honed in on the split there?
Honestly, I mean, he's such a good pitcher. I feel like he tries to slow you down with some good off speed and then rush a fastball by you. So I was just sitting hard, and he just left the splitter up for me to put a good swing on.
You got the crowd kind of making some chants towards your name here. How great is it to have the support wherever you guys go?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I've been here, the Boston fans travel really well. So every time we play on the road, it feels like we're at home with how much love they show us.
All right, Jan, thanks for the time. Thanks for showing me love today. Appreciate it.
Always.
I don't know if it's still true, Angel, but there was a time where if you were like a couple or a family of 4, it was actually cheaper to fly from Boston to Baltimore, get tickets, stay at the Marriott because you can walk to the stadium,
Right.
and to get tickets at Fenway and park. It was cheaper to fly to Baltimore and have that package than to go to Fenway and park. It's crazy. I don't know if that's still the case because there's only a 90-minute flight to Baltimore from Boston.
Right.
And they used to have great packages, like well under like $400 for the weekend. And that included hotel, airfare, all that stuff. Crazy. All right, if we could scroll up, Richard Fitz, fan favorite. People want to see him do well, but shared an update on he was injured last night and talked about it.
Felt a couple things in my warm-up pitches and just kind of pulling on the bicep a little bit, and then I kind of knew that my outing was coming to close, so I just wanted to get through what I could, and threw the first pitch of that inning, and it felt way worse than it did in the warm-ups, and it was just a bicep, and we're going to evaluate tomorrow, but I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Prior to that, obviously, the work you were able to do, how would you characterize the outing?
I feel like I settled in. I wasn't too happy with my first 2 innings, and I never want to be known as somebody who walks a lot of guys, and so I was really frustrated with those, and but felt like I settled in. That's something. Just getting used to the bullpen role, I think, is huge. Being able to come out and get the first inning out of the way as fast as I can, and without any damage, and I wasn't too happy with that.
Judging by the look on your face when it happened, did this end up being kind of not as bad as you initially thought?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for sure. It was more, a lot of emotion just hitting me in the sense of this is the second time this year I'm having to come out for an injury. It didn't feel nearly as bad as it did early in the year with the pec, so that's where I kind of took a step back and was like, okay, maybe this is a little bit better, but, I never want to put the team in that position too where, guys are having to come in and if they're cold and having to throw them in an impossible situation.
All right, so hopefully they will get him back sooner rather than later. So the Red Sox will go to make it 2 in a row over the O's tonight. Kyle Bradish is going to make his first start for Baltimore since June of last year, returning from Tommy John surgery. And he will go up against Lucas Giolito, who's pitched for the most part very well, 8-2 on the year with a 3.72 ERA. We'll get to football after the break at the bottom of the hour. But let's move on to get you a little Major League Baseball rundown from yesterday. Philadelphia pulled a Mets yesterday, and I'll tell you why.
That was out toward right center field. Soto's coming on. He can't get it. 2 runs will score. And Bohm has a 2-run single. And the Phillies have taken a 3-0 lead.
Wow. Usually it's the Mets that have 3-0 lead, 4-0, 5-6-0 leads, and then blow it. But it was all over for the Phillies after that. That RBI single happened in the top of the third, and then all hell broke loose.
No, the opposite. I feel like I've been missing the first 4 months of the season. I got to catch up.
Right the other way, a base hit, and the Mets will take the lead. Around third is Soto. He will score. Marte will be held at third. Vientos has his second RBI double of the night, and the Mets go in front for the first time. It's 4-3. The August of Vientos continues.
The August of Vientos. Earlier, NBC Sports Philly with the call. That is from SNY right there with Gary Cohen. And then the Mets started to pile on. It's head to the bottom of the 7th inning.
And Louis hits one out to right center field. That's pretty deep. Back goes Kepler near the wall. And it's out of here. Luis Torrens goes the other way for a 3-run homer. And the Mets put the hammer down in the 7th inning.
The hammer.
Third home run of the year for Torrens. A 3-run shot, and it's 10-3 New York.
(13-3) was the final. What's wrong with you people, Angel, giving up 13 straight runs after being up 3-0? You don't do that.
No.
One of those games. It was like watching the Mets, except not.
Yeah, exactly.
White Sox blank Kansas City last night, 7-0. Miami and Atlanta in a nail-biter.
Payoff pitch. Drake Baldwin deep to center field, and the ballpark is not going to hold it. Solo shot for the Braves catcher. It's 2-1 in the ninth.
All right, 2-1. That was the final. Tampa Bay blank Cleveland 9-0, and the Yankees doubled up Washington 10-5. Jazz Chisholm is on a roll, baby.
Chisholm drives that in the air, deep right. It is gone. Jazz Chisholm Jr. has done it again. Home run number 25. A little small ball, a little long ball, and it's 7-0 Yankees. Well, we talked last at bat how Jazz seems to be getting his game together.
Yep, it ended up being a 10-5 final. Red Sox still have a half-game lead on the Yankees for the top spot in the wild card race. Seattle is a game behind. Kansas City starting to fall off. So we're starting to get some separation there for the wild card. Kansas City is 4 games back of the wild card spot. Toronto banged out Minnesota 10-4 yesterday as well. Milwaukee over Arizona by a score of 7-5.
Get through the rotation first. You got to get rid of that old Halloween candy. Monasterio drills one deep into left. There's some treats. 6-0 on Monasterio's home run. His third.
Andrew having a big day. 2 for 2, now 2 RBIs. Stretches the lead to 6-0.
They go on to win. The Brewers do 7-5. St. Louis and Pittsburgh in a nail biter. The Steelers. The Pirates are up 6-0 in this game right up until the bottom of the ninth inning. Let me see. Where is it? Okay. Here we go.
Golf towards center. That's pretty well hit. At the track, hit the wall. It's gone. Burns in with a walk-off homer.
Yeah, in that game, and I'm trying to get in that game last night, there was a mishap for the Cardinals, even though they came back and won that game. But you just heard Alec Burleson hit the game-ending home run right there, lifting the Cardinals to that 7-6 victory. Let me see. There was an incident. Well, I got you know what? I'll find it. Somebody on the Cardinals was upset, threw a bat, hit the first base coach by accident. Anyway, so that was that.
Right.
The Cardinals ended up winning by a score of 7-6. The Angels blanked Texas last night 4-0. And Seattle over San Diego, and Cal Raleigh made history last night, the catcher for the Seattle Mariners. Here's how he made history.
Another 3-2. Fly ball driven. Way back there. Left field. Take cover. Number 50. Midway up the second deck. History marches on. For the first time ever, a catcher has hit 50 home runs in a season. It has never been done until right now.
How about that with a call? Root Sports right there. Cal Raleigh, 50th home run for a catcher. Never been done before. Good stuff there. A's over Detroit by a score of 8-3, and the Dodgers blanked Cincinnati 7-0. So there is your MLB rundown. We got lots of NFL news to tell you about, to dissect and analyze, including what happened with the Raiders yesterday, both receiving and giveth. The Washington Commanders signed Terry McLaurin. We'll have a reaction about that. Trey Hendrickson gets a $14 million raise for the Bengals and a whole lot more. Ohio State banning David Portnoy for the big game day on Fox coming up because of his hatred for Michigan. Or his hatred for Ohio State, I should say. He's a huge Michigan fan. Sorry about that, El Prez. but just absolutely ridiculous. We'll hear from Mario Cristobal as well, head coach of the Miami Dolphins, coming up also as they get ready to take on Notre Dame at Hard Rock on Sunday night, in which should be Sardine City and absolutely berserk crowd out there. Should be a lot of fun. Happy to say I'll be part of it. All right, hey, Phil Castaneda's Sports World in Saugus, Massachusetts is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles, and you want to get down there September 7th. Dave and Jeff Hansen from the famous movie Slapshot be signing autographs, $20 each from 10 a.m. until noon. Mail orders are welcome. It's very limited, and photos will be available. So get down there to see Dave and Jeff Hansen. If you have never seen Slapshot, go watch it. It is absolutely hysterical. One of the great movies of all time. Absolutely a riot. And then the Hansen brothers, Dave and Jeff, are going to be there signing autographs at Phil Castaneda's Sports World, 184 Broadway in Saugus on September 7th. Call them 781-233-7222 for more information. 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus, be there. Also want to tell you that for the best articles in audio, there's only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. The staff combing through the best articles in audio so you don't have to. Sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, contact them, info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. Lots of NFL, college football news and sound coming up next here on the Pete Shepard Show as we continue on this Tuesday on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Shepard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Shepherd Show.
Talk about what it's like to be part of a group that can go out and dominate anybody whenever they want to.
Yeah, man, it's special. You know what I mean? One guy ain't got to do it by himself. You know what I mean? He got two guys out there that can get open and win a game. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So all I can say is really it's special. You know what I mean? Not too many teams are able to get that type of duo or trio, as you would say, and so we try to keep it around as long as we can.
All right, that's T. Higgins on the trio of himself with quarterback Joey Burrow, wide receiver Jamar Chase in Cincinnati. Thanks to Sirius XM NFL Radio for that one. But the big story also, obviously, the Bengals' problem has not been offense over the last several years. It has been about defense. And Trey Hendrickson finally is going to stick around for at least another year. He gets a $14 million raise. A $14 million raise that makes his salary be $30 million this year. And he gets to become an unrestricted free agent at the end of next year once again. So if the Bengals don't want to bungle this up, they should re-sign him. Otherwise, lest they go through this again. But it is Cincinnati, so all dumb things are possible. Here is Dan Orlovsky breaking it all down for you.
And now at least it feels like you're going in with a full deck of cards when it comes to this season in comparison to Baltimore and Buffalo and Kansas City. This is enormous. And I think Adam's point of, listen, he's a one-year guy. That means motivation. We know that he thinks he's earned and deserved, and rightfully so, a ton more money. So you get a player that is, I don't care his age, 30 years old, that is coming off of leading the league in sacks, wanting to do it again to go get that big-time money. This is a very big deal for the Bengals.
Yeah, and it could cost them even more next year. If he leads the league in sacks again for the third straight year, you just keep up on the price. That's why you get it done now, but they don't understand that. They don't understand. They don't get it, and off he goes. Meanwhile, the Cleveland Browns have traded quarterback Kenny Pickett to the Las Vegas Raiders for the 2026 fifth-round pick. The Cincinnati Bengals, as I said, gave Hendrickson the $14 million. Washington signed wide receiver Terry McLaurin to his 3-year, $96 million extension. And I believe, do I have, I do have sound for that. Hang on one second here, Angel. Well, this, no, we don't have sound for that. Okay. Washington signs Terry McLaurin again, 3-year, $96 million extension, includes a $39 million signing bonus right there. And the Raiders are signing free agent wide receiver Amari Cooper. Welcome back. Jacoby Myers demanded a trade yesterday. We'll see how that all goes down. He's having a contract dispute. Last year, he had 87 catches, by the way, for 1,027 yards. And the Micah Parsons situation is still unresolved. What other NFL sound could you get to before we get to Monsieur Mario Cristobal? Pete Carroll, speaking of the Raiders, high praise for all-pro tight end Brock Bowers out of Georgia.
Sit here with you and not talk about him. Does he remind you of anyone you ever had before?
No, he's pretty much better than anybody we've had before. He is as natural a football player as you can imagine. Everything that he does just comes so easy to him. He's so effortless, almost graceful. And he has a knack of, when you throw him the football, it looks like you threw the ball exactly to the right spot. He kind of moves to put the ball right where it's supposed to be. He's got amazing body control. He's really explosive. You see him take off and run. He runs just like a wide receiver out here. And you just can't not go to him. I can see what happened last year.
It's a double negative.
Balls, you just can't not go to the guy. He's just too good. And there's
that means you can.
He can play outside. He can play inside. He can play it from the regular tight end positions. So we just keep learning and growing with him, and feel very fortunate to have him.
All right. Before we get to reaction for the Matt Sims on Sirius XM NFL Radio. Actually, we'll get to that right now. He has his reaction on Terry McLaurin signing the extension with the Washington Commanders.
Congratulations to Terry McLaurin and to the Washington Commanders for getting through this. And, man, I know one guy is really excited about this situation, obviously outside of Terry McLaurin and their camp, and that's Jaden Daniels, man, because he's got his guy back. He's got his leader back in that receiver room. And now the Deebo Samuel trade, right, that was made makes sense, right? It makes sense. Now that Scary Terry is out there, it's good things for Washington because now they can still use all of the things that they developed last year and kind of build into them for Terry and for Deebo Samuel and really make that a tough receiver room to defend.
All right, good stuff there. I always regret wearing this shirt because people think it's a Miami Dolphins shirt. It's not. It's the University of Miami shirt. It just happens Miami's there and the U is underneath. So I would never, ever, ever, ever wear a Miami Dolphins shirt at all, ever.
I thought maybe you were supporting Mike McDaniels.
No. No, I would not support Mike McDaniel, and nor would I support the Miami Dolphins. But I do support the U and the big game coming up this weekend on Sunday night, 7:30, ABC, with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Should be great. We're going to hear from Mario Cristobal in just a second. Think about this. I'm not one for conspiracy theories in the NFL or anything like that, but this one is probably going to get a lot of play today. And it's about Shedeur Sanders. And we saw how bad he was the other night. 3 of 6. He gets sacked 5 times. One was a 24-yard loss. It looked horrible. I mean, if you take the Sanders off and you're looking at 5th-round picks, that's what 5th-round picks look like. However, was he indeed set up to fail? And the reason I bring that up is because yesterday, the Cleveland Browns cut tackle Sebastian Gutierrez, center Bucky Williams, guard Javion Cohen, and guard D'Artagnan Tinsley. They were all 4 of the 5 offensive linemen who were blocking for quarterback Shedeur Sanders in their last game. Now, you tell me, that stinks. That stinks. Again, Sebastian Gutierrez, Bucky Williams, Javion Cohen, and D'Artagnan Tinsley. Nothing like having a 3 musketeer on the offensive line. And all of them cut by the Cleveland Browns. So you tell me if Shedeur Sanders got fair treatment, not to mention the fact they pull him out of the game in the 2-minute drill at the end and put Huntley in, a guy they'd already cut. That wasn't going to be hey, it's the Cleveland Browns. That's why you are the Cleveland Browns.
Would they have been better off going to New Orleans?
Who?
Shedeur.
Oh, well, maybe he would have had a better shot. It would have played him with the quarterback from Louisville, Schwab over there.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's going to make the team. He's going to be on the team, especially now that Kenny Pickett's been traded. But Dylan Gabriel's played better. I mean, there's no question. Dylan Gabriel has been the better quarterback of the two. But that's kind of ridiculous. I'd like to see Dylan Gabriel in there with those 4 jamokes at the end of the game. You know, I don't think you'd have great stats. But overall, Dylan Gabriel has been better than Shedeur Sanders. So he's going to make the team. Flacco's going to start, and then it'll be Dylan Gabriel as a backup, Shedeur Sanders, and people forget Deshaun Watson is still on the team for now. 53-man roster cutdown coming up today at by 4 p.m. So we'll keep you posted if anything dramatic happens. All right, meanwhile, the Miami Hurricanes are getting ready to take on Notre Dame on Sunday at Hard Rock Stadium. Mario Cristobal spoke to the media yesterday. He's very excited about this roster.
Yeah, we're fired up about this group. We've worked hard to put this roster together. I never, put final judgment on a team until the end of the season, but heading into the season, you just love the progress, fired up, enthused, ready to roll with the progress, the pieces that are in place, the systems that have been put in place, some of the changes that we've made. And again, the people have certainly put in a ton of time and effort into advancing our program. So we really do feel strongly and confident about our people.
Yeah, as do I. I mean, I've said that the last several years, and hopefully this is the year that they get to back to the college football playoff. But Coach Cristobal talks about games, all about the trenches, baby.
The trenches are where games are typically determined and momentum is taken right or taken over in the fourth quarter. And they've got a great offensive line. They've got a great defensive line, and we feel we have a great offensive line and a great defensive line. So tremendous opportunity on Sunday night.
Absolutely. And going up against the rookie quarterback. Cristobal also talks about Carson Beck's timing.
Whenever, you assess a situation like that, you're wondering, okay, if he can't go spring, when can he go? Is there enough time to get everybody on the same page? And
right.
We're confident in that timing. And he didn't participate in spring from a throwing aspect, but he was doing all the other stuff, which is also super valuable, Joe. Your protections, your run game, your checks. And then right after, in the month of May, he was already slinging it. So the way we do things, the way our players run their player-led workouts or OTAs, you get a ton of reps, and he's had them. So we feel very confident in what we've accomplished and the direction of our path.
Yeah, love it. Also, he names the backup quarterback.
Yeah, it's Emory. Emory's going to be the backup, and Luke is in there competing his butt off. So is Judd. But that's where we're rolling right now.
All right, Emory Williams will be the backup, the redshirt sophomore, and Luke Nickel, the freshman, third string right there. All right, more from Coach Mario Cristobal from yesterday's presser, as they just deleted the whole thing like an idiot. Oh, there we go. Meanwhile, Mario Cristobal on Notre Dame having very good players.
Well, I mean, you have to acknowledge good players where they have them, right? I mean, this is a team that played in the national championship and was really a drive away from winning the national championship. And they returned 11 of those starters and kind of, replaced some of the departed ones with starters from other places. So they have great players. I don't think you ever shy away from doing your absolute best game planning and execution with the players that you have. We have trust and confidence in our players, and we're going to go play our best football.
Yep, no doubt about it. Also, more on Notre Dame.
Well, the entire defense, making sure that you swarm to the football is important. I mean, if you watch the resiliency and the physicality of Notre Dame, they hammered people to the playoffs and through the playoffs, and they did it primarily with the guys up front. And lost also in all that is the fact that they have some big-time playmakers at wide receiver now, and they acquired a couple more, but their current receivers, you see them down the stretch, they're making a lot of plays. And again, just a really, really talented team. So for us, an awesome opportunity.
Yeah, and I'm glad they're playing them early as opposed to late. Notre Dame seems to be getting better the last couple of years under Freeman. As the season goes on, you saw them lose to Northern Illinois last year early on. If that had happened late in the season, which it never would because they never scheduled a game like that at the end of the year, but They ended up again. They were very close to winning the national championship yesterday, but it came by the way of Ohio State. Mario Cristobal more not surprised by Carson Beck.
No, it didn't. I mean, we studied a lot of film, before making, like we do on anybody, before making a decision. That ball comes out fast and it comes out accurate. And, he's a guy he's a big dude. And naturally, he's a hard worker. He gets after it. And we felt in this strength conditioning program, we could get him even stronger. So everything has an upward trajectory with him. And, again, the best part about him is, his makeup. I mean, he's made of the right stuff. His DNA is ready to roll, man. So he's been a great leader, and certainly we're excited to see him vote.
Yeah, Carson, by the way, in case you don't know, it's about 6'4", and a half, 220. A couple more here from Mario Cristobal, head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, talking about the quarterback situation for Notre Dame.
Well, you always got to be able to run the ball and stop the run, right? If you can't do that, then you're going to get gutted. But as to their quarterbacks, they have talented quarterbacks, and we know one's been named a starter, and obviously a tremendous amount of talent, and he's bolstered by a massive offensive line. But they have a couple really good quarterbacks. In game one, you prepare for everything by just sticking to making sure that your systems and your processes are in place, and you're repping them like crazy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And how about Mario Cristobal talking about the secondary different this year?
Well, you see size and length, right? That was one of the biggest things that we added to the secondary, but also legitimate speed, right? Play speed, catch-up speed, guys that could get in and out of, their breaks in a hurry, and guys that they understand the game. They have a good foundation, a good base. And in our defense, I think, with the combination of the system itself with Coach Heatherman and then Coach Etheridge and Harris and Coach Jefferson working with these guys, I think we've changed our secondary. We changed the body types. We've changed schematically, and certainly our style of play. So we expect to be significantly better. And
he's not bullshitting you there, because the entire starting secondary is all transfers. Jacoby Thomas, Zachariah Poyser, Xavier Lucas, Kalante Scott, all transfers. All transfers. Let's see. You get a senior and two sophomores, two seniors and two sophomores, the starting backfield or defensive backfield for the Miami Hurricanes this year. All right, lastly, on what he will tell his team before the game.
Oh, there's a lot of messaging, and certainly, 99.9% of it will never come out on the air, and I don't think it should. Joe, it's almost like nowadays things are too intrusive, right?
Yeah.
The football experience is special, and the things that are said and done behind the scenes that will really make it happen. And it's special because it's relegated to that. But I think what we all recognize and know is that it's all about your preparation and understanding the importance of the concept of resiliency and grit, because there's no, on either one of these teams, there's no given. No one's going to tap, right? This thing's going to go, and until they shut off the lights at the stadium, these teams are going to go. So, that being said, prepare with purpose every single day. Work your butt off in practice and spend every week and minute you always can, like you do for every game. It's not just one game. You do for every game. You study extra film. You take care of your body. You make sure that in practice, okay, that you are finding a way on every single rep to get better. And that means whether you're a starter, a backup, on the service team, scout team, whatever it may be. So, prepare to the level and to the standard, and everything else takes care of itself.
All right. Let's give out, meanwhile, big game coming up at UCF in Tampa, coming up at Ray J. On Thursday afternoon, USF hosting Boise State. Alex Golish from SiriusXM College Sports Radio on what to expect.
When you think of Boise, you think of culture, you think of those Fiesta Bowl wins, you think of the running back proposing after the end round deal. It's a program that's had some elite moments in college football history. And then you fast forward to a year ago, a program with a first-year head coach that went and ran the table with a Heisman Trophy candidate at running back, to what that offensive line looks like, to just high level culture, and essentially a program that has never beat themselves. And so for us, regardless of the playoff a year ago to a top 25 ranking, for us, it's a huge game to open the season. It's if we say, man, that Boise is the standard in a lot of ways, that's what we're striving to be. So if that's who we want to be, man, you got to go beat those guys. And what's been awesome about having them as the week 1 game is you've known since January you're playing on a Thursday night on national TV, in what'll be a packed out Ray J. Like you feel like, man, that day you don't want to come in and give it everything you got as a player. Dude, there's something staring down the barrel right at you. And so it's been easy to point to and motivate. And man, for us, it would be, I guess the answer to your question in a long-winded way is, for us, it would just mean the next step for us as a program. Now, we turn around, if you're bored, look at our next week and our next week, like you're not going to catch a breath. You're going to have to keep going. But for us, I think it truly will be the next step. This is year 3 for us. We took over a program that needed to be built from the ground up. And it would be the next step. Does it define us as a program? No, but it certainly gives us momentum going into week 2, week 3, certainly in the conference play.
Yeah, great stuff there from Coach Alex Golesh. And it's going to be a really interesting game, and it should be 65,000 plus. I'm expecting a sellout at Ray J, Angel. I know you probably are as well. Yep. And there are some transfers. You got wide receiver Ches. Yeah, his last name is Nimrod, unfortunately. The redshirt junior transfer at wide receiver. You have Thomas Schrader, the redshirt senior transfer at left guard. On the offensive line, right tackle, senior transfer Connor McLaughlin. And also at running back, senior transfer is Cartavius Norton. And they have a bunch of other ones too. They have a lot of transfers on offense and defense on that team, as do a lot of other schools. But I think, as he said, you know, Alex Golesh is heading, that team is headed in the right direction. They got a brand new facility that's going to be ready sooner rather than later. So exciting times up in Tampa.
It is very exciting times. And let's not forget too, you had Bryce Archie who decided to leave because he got the contract with the Cincinnati Reds. So he left. So, you know, Byram has a lot to prove to himself after being injured last season as well, but he's got a lot to prove to make sure he is QB number 1 for the regular season. But it's a lot of excitement building up at USF. And in all programs, including men and women's basketball, new men's basketball head coach. So this is going to be probably the most exciting season of me covering USF altogether since I've been out here and since I've been covering this team. But for football, I think Coach Golesh he's going to show a lot of folks that year 3 is going to be definitely the year for USF football.
Well, I expect a great report out of you on Friday, because you're going to the game on Thursday afternoon, correct?
Yes.
You will be there, and you'll be watching it live and talking to players and coaches afterwards. So looking forward to of course, we'll all be watching on ESPN. Meanwhile, Peter Burns, Chris Doring on Sirius XM SEC Radio talking about LSU's defense.
The biggest concern for LSU fans coming into this is, do they actually have a defense? And maybe I'm just punch drunk on Blake Baker. Maybe I'm punch drunk on the fact of how much money they spent in the portal. Is the fact that I feel like this will be the best defense that LSU has had since probably, I want to say, even prior to 2019. Like 2019 defense came along nicely, but was more of a speed bump. And I think this will be better than a speed bump that LSU has right from the jump. And you'll know exactly how good they are in game 1. I mean, you're talking about Cade Klubnik, who I think is going to win the Heisman, and I think a young, talented wide receiver crew that's going to give LSU all they can handle. But I think LSU finally has the personnel, CD, defensively that they haven't had in 5-6 years.
Yeah, I think one of the silver linings last year of Harold Perkins' injury was that you figured out Whit Weeks was maybe the calming, stable guy in the middle of that defense. I think you also are excited because you look at, I think, an upgraded defensive line that I think is more talented and more deeper than last year. And then I look at Missouri. Blake Baker's jump from year 1 to year 2, it was significantly better. And I expect this defense to have a similar type jump, just understanding the scheme and what is being asked of them, and Blake Baker understanding the personnel that he has and how to utilize those guys better this year.
Alrighty, and that's going to be a huge opening day game, LSU and Clemson going at it. That is absolutely gigantic. By the way, did you know a MAC team has beaten a Big Ten team in 16 of the past 18 seasons, 2020 excluded? 5 different MAC versus Big Ten matchups in week 1. Interesting stuff. See what happens. There's always, it's the beauty of sports is there's always always upsets. Hector Longo going to join us momentarily here from the Eagle Tribune, same paper that we have Bill Bird on all the time. Going to get Hector on was on a couple weeks ago. He was fantastic. Going to get him on again today, and we'll find out. Get his thoughts on what's going on with the Patriots and the 53-man roster. I think we pretty much know what's going on, but maybe get some insight about what's going on with Jacoby Myers. Is it possible? Could he come back to the Patriots? Demanding a trade, doesn't want us having contract negotiation problems with the Las Vegas Raiders. So we shall see what happens there. While we're waiting for Hector to come on, to one more college football note here. Dusty Dvorak on the Week 0 matchup in Dublin. This is also Sirius XM College Sports Radio. Interesting take.
This doesn't feel like a regular season opener. I said, this feels like a Big 12 championship because you had so many Kansas State and so many Iowa State fans that had traveled over. Like it felt bigger than that. You're on a professional stadium. It felt like you usually would feel. I've been to the Big 12 championship. I've been to other conference championship games. It had more of that kind of feel. And just the way, and I know it's week 0 and it's, to kick the year off, but it didn't feel like just any other opener. You know what I mean? Like, I can't say what it was like sitting home watching, but being there, day of the game, and being there really for several days and talking with fans, seeing the buzz with fans, the excitement that they had, and then game day, you could tell with the players too. Was a little sloppy, maybe it's weather, but you could tell they were really amped. Like they felt like it was a really big game. It delivered big time. I was that part really impressed me is just how big the game felt. That it wasn't like, they got a trophy after the game. They did a big firework display after Aer Lingus did a really nice job making it feel as big as it felt, I thought, to me, and I hope it came through that way because that did not just feel like another opener to kick the season off. It felt like there was a lot on the line, the rivalry aspect. They've played 109 straight years in that rivalry. It's the 4th longest consecutive rivalry in college football. They did it 4,000 miles away and in a sweet stadium that was packed with their fans. And just as you mentioned, it was competitive. It was a knockdown, drag-out. That aspect of it, it exceeded any and all of my expectations going in.
All right. And I can tell you this. Besides the quarterbacks of Kansas State, dad and son fighting in a parking lot after, it was an unbelievable atmosphere. First half was a little sloppy because it was rain, a lot of rain, fireworks and everything else. But nevertheless, it ended up being a pretty good game, and Iowa State minor upset over Kansas State in that one, 24-21. All right, Heather Dinich, before we get to Hector Longo. Yeah, Hector needed a link. Always assume everybody needs a link, Angel. That's just the way it is. They don't say, nobody saves anything.
Apparently not.
That's all right. And it's on his way, though, right?
Yep.
Okay. We'll get Hector on in a second. Here's Heather Dinich breaking down what to expect from North Carolina head coach Bill Belichick.
Heather, I am fascinated about what we're going to see in Chapel Hill this year. What are your early thoughts on the Bill Belichick debut season for the Tar Heels?
North Carolina is the biggest mystery in college football. Even Bill Belichick doesn't know what he has. His players haven't really put on the pads yet, particularly on the offensive and defensive lines. These guys have to go against each other and hit each other. This is an unheralded roster full of transfers, unproven playmakers at different positions all over the field, and an entirely new defense. The biggest thing they have going for them is a manageable schedule. It's winnable. It's about 70th in the country in terms of difficulty. Don't leave the state more than 3 times.
All right, there's Heather Dinich on North Carolina and Bill Belichick, and we'll see what happens. They get the whole country watching on Monday night against TCU. And just like that, we welcome in Hector Longo from the Eagle Tribune. Good morning, Hector. How are you? Looks like a nice, somewhat of an autumn-type day up in Massachusetts. What's going on?
Yeah, hang on. He's on his phone, so it froze once again. He's just frozen in the green room.
Really would love people to get on their laptop if possible, but anyway, we'll do the best we can. If not, we'll just have them.
Here we go.
Oh, there you are. Okay, hang on a second. There we go. Let's do.
I figured out the button that I had to hit to get you on, so we're ready to go.
All right, buddy. Beautiful day out there in Massachusetts. Looks like very, very nice.
We're living large up here right now. Don't call me in December, though.
Yeah, yeah, December. How about next week?
Good point.
Well, today is cut down day, as we all know. I found it fascinating what the Browns did to Shedeur Sanders. I just want to throw that in because it really is unbelievable. I'm not into conspiracy theories at all, and I know obviously you follow the NFL, but to do what they did to cut Sebastian Gutierrez, Bucky Williams, Javion Cohen, and D'Artagnan Tinsley, the same 4 guys that were out there blocking for Shedeur Sanders the other night, then you cut them the next day. Not to mention you take out Huntley, you put Huntley in, and who gets cut. Who was cut anyway. I don't know. You think the Patriot offensive line had issues? How about Cleveland's? Anyway, we digress. But
Does anybody know? I don't think anybody really truly knows, is Shedeur going to be any good? But man, that kid has not gotten a fair shake one bit. It's too bad. It really is too bad the way they've treated him so far.
Well, I mean, he had his moments early on in preseason. There's no question about that. Now, Dylan Gabriel's played better. That's also no question about that. But I don't think you stick Dylan Gabriel in with those idiots that got cut yesterday, and see how he does with four guys in the offense. And I still, for the life of me, can't understand why you put Huntley in at the end, take Shedeur Sanders out for what? A guy that you'd already cut, and you take him out for the last 2 minutes of the game. It's Cleveland Brown football, baby.
Look, Stefanski has not proven that he's a real deal NFL coach. I don't put anything past him, and that organization has been brutal. Look at what that organization has done. Not even starting with the contract they gave Deshaun Watson, the crazy contract for a guy who, did anybody do any homework on the guy whatsoever before you brought him in? Before you decided to give him a $400 million guaranteed deal. Look, I hope Shedeur. I root for Shedeur. I'm from the era where Dion was one of my favorite guys of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So I root for Shedeur. I want to see him do well. I've rooted for Dion in Colorado. But man, the treatment of the kid, and for what? They kept Kenny Pickett around all camp. Is it that important that we see that Kenny Pickett has to? We not know that Kenny Pickett really can't play. I mean, how long do you have to watch? How long do you have to watch him in Pittsburgh in the preseason? He stinks. Why have him around? You're only defeating the purpose of the whole thing.
He might have to be better than Rodgers, though. It is interesting. The whole season coming down here. Big day today around the league. 53-man roster needs to get done. From the Patriots. Well, let me just say that. Speaking of the Raiders, and of course they get Pickett yesterday, but also Jacoby Myers wants out. Any chance he could end up back with the Patriots?
I think all of New England is kind of wishing for him to come back. Thinking about how he literally has been the only decent receiver they've had in 5 years. That consistent and quality receiver, and he's everyone. Pete, for 20 years we said nobody's ever gone on from New England anywhere and done.
Well,
and he's the one guy who's gone out and proved it in Vegas. I think we'd love to have him back, but if you look at it honestly, Pete, realistically, if you look at their receiver set now, it's kind of the one position where they have a little depth and have a little competition that's a good enough competition.
All right, and to your point, 87 catches last year from Monsieur Myers for 1,027 yards. No question about it. All right, let's get to the Jalen Polk situation. Look, I don't know why Mike Vrabel seems to got that upset about rats and everything else. I mean, this is you're coaching in the National Football League. Things get leaked all the time as well. two-part question. One, and I asked this to Billy Burt last week. I was like, who's the rat? If there is a rat, no, it's not even rat. Who's doing their job? And I'm not surprised that Jalen Polk, he's going to be out for the rest of the year. So what's your whole take on how all that went down?
You know, Mike is smarter. Mike is honestly smarter than a single level thing. That was a message to the whole organization. Maybe I'm with the theory that a lot of guys espouse that it was probably the agent. So Mike can't say anything about his agent. You know, that's not part of their organization. However, I think Mike feels like he doesn't have everybody on board there. You know, some of the holdovers, and he was kind of laying the groundwork. There was that was a purpose pitch by Mike Vrabel. You know, to bring up the word rat. You don't just say the word rat unless there's a purpose. And that was definitely the high inside fastball to set up the curve on the outside corner. It was, hey, we're doing this my way, and I will not relent until we're all on board.
I feel like the season should start this week. I hate the week in between, and today's the day off. And I know they got to get stuff organized, but what, if any, left? What's your theory on what's going to happen today? And I know they've already cut some cards, obviously. So what do you think is going to happen today?
Yeah, Pete, I honestly believe that their entire roster is kind of 2000-ish, where when I'm doing a 53-man roster, it's not who do I cut. It's, wow, who the heck do I keep on this at the bottom? You know, for decades, Belichick, he lived and died with building that bottom half of the roster and building depth. And the way you look at this roster now, they just don't have it. You know, finding quality offensive linemen to fill out the 53-man roster is going to be tough. They're going to be busy. They're going to go, you know, everyone talks about those two spots where they could put Bourne and Tavai on injured reserve and bring them back, and you don't have to use a roster spot now like you used to have to do. I'm sorry, but finding 53 NFL quality bodies is going to task for them today. So I do think they're going to be busy on the waiver wire. I think it's going to be a revolving door at Foxborough for the first couple of months. You remember how it was in 2000. Bill cleaned the roster.
He did.
You know, I thought they were going to do this last year. They did not. Like, the roster needed a complete overhaul last year. They kind of just patched it up and went, as opposed to realizing that they only had 25 to 30 NFL players on that roster. There's going to be some severe work with it. Mike Vrabel's not going to be satisfied with that. There's going to be some severe changing of that bottom half of the roster, I think, in the next couple of weeks. And in that case, Pete, and I'm with you, I want to play Sunday. The extra week does help them. It's going to help them kind of bring new faces in and bring different guys in. And it won't stop for 1 week or 2 weeks, but the roster at the bottom half of the roster is going to be very interchangeable for the next couple of weeks.
But the top half, I'm still overall, this offense is night and day from last year. I think the potential to be night and day. The fact that Drake can get rid of the ball as quickly as he can. And I don't mean this as regarding this is a superior offense compared to last year. I'm just talking about the Patriots. It's not even close. It's not.
No, most definitely. Most definitely. They've made major moves. The way Henderson has looked, the competency of the receiver core has moved up, and I'm not sure if that's coaching or just growth and experience, but they look like a lot more professional group out there, and it has to translate better. They can't. The quarterbacks a year later, they can't be. They have to be leaps and bounds better than they have been offensively.
And they're going to get a good test in the Reds. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I'm really looking forward to opening game. Pete Carroll, there'll be a lot of hype, and who knows what's going to happen with Jacoby Myers before then as well. But they're going to get a pretty good test right out of the gate from the Raiders. And I think Vegas has them favored by 3. The Patriots favored by 3. But they should get a pretty good test, that offensive line from that front 7 for the Raiders, right out of the gate.
Yeah, first of all, the challenge of the two ends is Kuntz and Crosby. It's going to be a major challenge for the two tackles, first of all. But I look at it the other way. I was thinking about this last night. You know, Geno kind of feasted on them last year when he was in Seattle. You know, I still see DK running down the seam untouched for that long TD, and So it kind of scares me a little bit about Geno Smith, and I don't think I ever thought I would utter those words in my life, but Geno Smith kind of scared me. Even at this age now, the Raiders are going to be better. But I think the Patriots are better too. It's like you say, it's going to be a good test. It's a sleeper good game in week 1. Let's put it that way.
And what about the Patriots defense going up against that Raider offense? I think the Patriots, are projected to have probably at least around a top 8 defense in the league. I think. I mean, that's what I think they can achieve that to be like a top 8 defense. And as we know, you don't have to have a great defense to go far in the postseason. I mean, we're far away from that. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't have to be. We're not talking the 85 Bears or the 2000 Ravens or anything like that. In this day and age, just be decent. Because to me, there's very, very few, if any, quote unquote, great defenses left in the NFL just because of the way the game has evolved. You just throw the ball all over the place. It's just hard to cover everybody. I mean, I care about is inside the 20, inside the 20s. That's what I care about. Red zone defense, third down stops, that type of thing. That's more important to me than net yardage. I don't care about net yardage between the 20s.
Right. Third down defense is the key. I think. And, you look at the way that their defense is formed, Pete, they're kind of formed for that, where it's, the weak spot is linebacker. But you know what? That's a first and second down thing. They're strong in the corner as long as Davis and Gonzalez are healthy. They're strong up front. Inside, starting with Williams and Barmore, I think is going to have a breakthrough year as long as he stays healthy. So I think they're built for third down. I think you're being a little too extremely positive there, Pete, with 8. But I'm going to tell you they're going to be a top 3rd defense for sure. So is that top 12, top 13, somewhere right in there?
And that's fine. That's enough to win a lot of games. I do think this team may have, where last year you knew they had to play almost perfect the entire game. They could not overcome even one turnover. Forget about 2. But this year, because the defense I think is so much better, and I think the offense is a hell of a lot better. Not that I want to see them get in early trouble or anything like that, but I won't feel as gut-wrenched as any time they turned the ball over last year, like, oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. And it just seemed like inevitable. It came back to bite them in the butt. But this year, hopefully, that will not be the case.
It's one of those things, too, like a lot of the turnovers came at really bad times last year, and sometimes turnovers don't come at the bad time, or at least a crushing time. And maybe it was part of the fact that their personnel was weak, that they hurt so much. So maybe I hate to say luck, but maybe that's just fate.
You need luck, though. You need luck in this game sometimes.
Right.
People forget. People forget 2001. If Patton doesn't get knocked unconscious and the ball attached to his foot, who knows what happened? They lose that game. And people forget about it. You need a little bit of luck to get to the point.
You do. And they didn't have any last year. They had a lot of bad fortune last year, for sure. And, you can blame bad things happening to bad people. I guess the turnover thing, Pete, I kind of equate to blackjack. When you have $25 up there in the blackjack, it's great. But when you have 100 up there and you get the blackjack, those are the ones you need to win. So, the turnovers just came, the $100 times where you need them to happen to $25 times, I guess would be my equation on that.
Now, as far as I know, I was really, as I told you, special team wise, what I think is just as important. It's a third of the game, just as important. As far as Andy Borregales, he missed another one the other day, which I've seen him miss 2 field goals. I haven't seen him miss 2 field goals for Miami the last year and a half. And Parker Romo, who's got the edge here?
So I'm going to say that I'm sitting in that room with Vrabel and Elliot Wolf as they talk about the kicker. And, it's a 50-50 thing. And Elliot is saying, yeah, but Mike, we drafted Borregales, so let's try and keep him because I'm coming off a tough draft. And I'm going to hear about it if I don't get that kicker. And I just think they've been so even in camp that Borregales is going to get the nod. I could be wrong, but it's just the sense I get. It has been a battle, Pete. They both had great days. They both had tough days in camp. I just think that Borregales might survive.
Well, I was looking at the 2024 Patriots draft 1 year later. Drake May, fine. Round 2, Jalen Polk, we know about that. Offensive lineman, Caden Wallace, a backup. Layden Robinson, the guard, cut or waived. Javon Baker stinks. He's on the roster bubble, maybe. I think he's getting cut. Cornerback Marcellus Dial out for the year. Joe Milton III, having a decent preseason, by the way, traded to the Cowboys, and Jaheim Bell waived the tight end. That is pathetic. That is pathetic.
Too many swings and misses right there, Pete. Too many swings and misses, and that's why I think this is a pivotal. That's why I think Borregales might benefit. Just because they got to keep draft guys around if people are going to stay confident in Wolf, and I think if Mike's going to stay confident in Wolf. So I think honestly, they need to get immediate and long-term production from this year's draft to erase the memory of not just last year's, but they didn't exactly wrap themselves in glory in 2023 and 2022 either. So they have a lot of work to do there.
All right. Finally, Hector Longo from the Eagle Tribune. Give me one or two names that you think will be a surprise to make this team when it's all said and done today, if there's even such a thing as a surprise right now.
I think the surprise is going to be in the veterans, Pete. I think people are talking about, they're trying to get rid of Kyle Duggar or Anfernee Jennings and trying to trade him and get something from him. And that has not happened yet. And, those guys were out there in the last game of the preseason. I just think at some point they're going to be in the room and realize, hey, they're good quality, decent NFL bodies. And that's something we don't have. So I kind of think that, everybody thinks there's impending doom with the couple of veterans, the last vestiges of the Belichick regime. I think out of self-preservation, they have to keep those guys around. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're stuck with the team at the end of the day today.
Hector, you're the best. Thanks so much. And
we're trying anyways, Pete.
You're the man. Stay busy. Today's an off day, and then we'll talk. We'll talk again, if not next week, the week after. Absolutely. Great stuff as always.
Sounds good, Pete. Keep up the good work. Honestly, you've changed my mornings around here. I actually want to get up now and listen to you as opposed to not having anything else to listen to. So I really enjoy your show. Your first hour to me is must listen to on the internet. So I just want to let you know that you have changed my life a little bit.
I'm a life changer. That's what I do. 58 years old. It took me a long time, but keep listening.
You're only 58.
What does that mean?
I thought you were. I kind of meant I thought you were in your 40s. I would have said you were like 47, 48, somewhere in there.
I have an
No way.
18-year-old mentality,
Yes, I got you.
Well,
I just thought I was. I'm an 80s kid, so I just thought I was dealing with a 90s kid. So I guess I was just I was a decade off. I'm 59, so like I said, we're kind of the same mold.
All right, man. We'll keep listening because the one and only Mia O'Brien from ESPN Radio is coming up to talk about the Jaguars, and she is one of the best in the biz. So, Hector, thank you so much. Hector,
can you do me one favor on that?
Yeah, whatever you need.
Can you ask him about the running back situation there? Because I have a fantasy draft on Friday night, and I want to know if there's two.
Ask her about the.
Yeah.
I will. I'll definitely.
Yeah.
I definitely will.
I gotta know about the Jaguars running back situation. Is the Tootin kid really going to be the real deal and shove Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby out of the way?
Yeah.
Just want to know. So
that'll be the first question, just for you.
Get that dope for me. I appreciate that information.
All right, thanks a lot. Hector Longo from the Eagle Tribune covers the Patriots, and make sure the streets are safe for women and children in his spare time. Anyway, just like that, we welcome him. It's been a couple of weeks. Actually, it's probably been a month, but Mia O'Brien has been very busy with a new gig at ESPN National Radio. Mia, thanks for taking a few minutes this morning. How are you doing?
Oh, just, living the dream. Can't complain. Gonna head to a workout class here in a bit. Then we've got some duties at some duties at UNF. Next ESPN show is tomorrow. So, yeah, we're living the dream. Can't complain.
What time tomorrow?
7 to 10 p.m. tomorrow with Ian Fitzsimmons tomorrow night.
When are they going to put you on in the morning on TV?
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Taking it one day at a time. Yeah. Whatever they ask of me, I'm ready for. My initial contract, we'll call it, when we first sat, which it is contract, but when we first sat down and mapped out my hours, it was with the intent of nights and weekends. And now that my schedule has freed up a little bit, we'll see what happens.
Sweet. All right, let me get to Hector's question. Well, he wants to ask you because he's got a stupid fantasy draft like a lot of people. I'm not saying they're stupid. I used to be in a couple of big fantasy football things. I can't take it. I don't have the time to go through waiver wires and know it's going to be $5 for this, $10. I just don't care. So I just do the FanDuel or DraftKings I wait for the injury report to come out and I do my $1 2 or 3 teams and see what happens. But initially, the running back situation for the Jaguars coming up this year, what's it looking like in your opinion?
Yeah, and Hector is not the first, won't be the last person to ask that. And I think that there's been a lot of speculation here in Jacksonville, especially after the comments of Liam Cohen last week at joint practices, this idea of could you give 4 running backs a jersey on game day? Yes, you could have 4 running backs on your 53-man roster. I think a lot of folks misinterpreted that comment. They're going to have 4 running backs on the roster. I can assure you of that. I'd be shocked if they did not carry both of their 2 rookie running backs in Bashal Tootin, the 4th rounder out of Virginia Tech, and LaQuint Allen, who's had one of the best camps of anyone, the 7th rounder out of Syracuse, who by all accounts is considered not just a potential core 4 special teamer for the Jaguars, but also maybe their best running back in pass pro.
Mm-hmm.
So you couple that with some comments earlier in camp from Liam Cohen that maybe Tank Bigsby isn't the 3-down running back they want him to be because he's still growing in pass pro. He's had some really nice reps on 3rd down in the last few weeks. And so perhaps he heard the call and heard the comments and now is seizing that opportunity. Of course, the trade rumors swirling Travis Etienne, which have dated back to earlier in the spring, and Liam Cohen has decisively shut them down every time they've come up. And so that's a long-winded way of answering Hector's question, which is I believe it will be running back by committee. I believe that the Jaguars will ride the hot hand. Now, I saw a report earlier this week from some folks speculating that Tootin would not get a jersey on game day. Let's relax, people. Let's take a deep breath here. May there be an opportunity to rest one of these rookies on a given week because you want to elevate an extra defensive lineman, an extra linebacker, depending on the matchup. Of course, the Travis Hunter of it all, because he gives you this weird roster flexibility. Yes, I could see a world where that happens, but I don't see a world in which you don't have one of the more electric running back rookies in this year's class on the field and available. And so I've seen the Jaguars have four running backs active on game day.
Mhm.
That's what I anticipate. I was kind of surprised when I saw that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I expect
I've
it to
seen
be
that with
running
the
back by
Patriots many years. There's been many years me covering the Patriots. They've had 4 running backs active, and they used them all too.
Right.
So,
And that's especially
yeah.
when one of them is a core 4 special teamer. Like I
Mhm.
wasn't surprised to I expect to see all 4 of them active against the Carolina Panthers. I could be wrong, but I do think all 4 make the 53.
I think you're definitely onto something. Now, how sick do you get of this question? Of course, I have to ask it. But what, Mia, do you anticipate? Is it going to be 70-30 for Hunter? Is it going to be 50-50? How much is he going to play on offense and defense? I mean, how often? How sick of you of that absolute ridiculous question?
Maybe not so much just because they keep giving me opportunities on the mothership because they all have
Mhm.
that same question. So I'm not
Yeah.
complaining because it's getting me
Oh, I
reps,
know. You know what I mean.
there and with my friends at VSiN and BetQL, they all want to ask it. So, hey, listen, keep on asking it. I've got a couple of canned answers, so I'll give you one of
Yes.
those.
Yes.
I think that what you are going to see is, yes, a player who is going to play both wide receiver and cornerback. How much of each position is going to be dictated week to week, matchup to matchup, need to need. Liam Cohen has made it clear throughout training camp that they were not going to adjust Travis Hunter's workload based off of availability from other wide receivers and cornerbacks. I'm obviously talking about Tyson Campbell, who is their undisputed number 1 corner when he's been available the last 4 years. And so he did miss about a week of training camp with an upper body injury. And so there were questions of if Tyson can't go, does Travis Hunter have to play more corner? And the first day that Tyson wasn't out there, Liam said, no, absolutely not. And then the next 2-3 days, Travis Hunter ran almost exclusively at cornerback because I think they recognize that while they do like Christian Braswell, the inside-outside corner out of Rutgers, they also are without Buster Brown, the longtime backup to Tyson Campbell, who's missed almost all of camp with a foot injury. And so I think it was like, oh, okay, we probably do need Travis Hunter to play corner if we want to be trotting out what we believe looks like a first-team defense. And that's no knock on Braswell. It's just the reality of, Jordan Lewis is going to play in the slot. They even rotated him a bit outside without Tyson Campbell. They recognized if they're going to be operating at peak efficiency, if they're to be down Tyson, they're going to need Travis Hunter to step in at cornerback. And so that's where perhaps against the Cincinnati Bengals, let's say, if the coaching staff deems it necessary, I think all of us that have watched the NFL the last 5 years would say it's probably necessary. When you have the likes of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, you probably want to have extra defensive back availability. You want to have defensive backs that can keep up with those two guys in man coverage. Although I've heard from plenty of folks around the college game that Travis Hunter doesn't necessarily translate to a man-to-man corner at the next level. Zone and the scheme that Anthony Campanile is running here in Jacksonville is actually ideal for him, and it kind of mirrors a little bit of what he did at Colorado his final season. We forget that Deion Sanders did make a coaching change, a defensive coordinator, before Travis and Shador's final season, and it was done in large part because he wanted to run a defense that would showcase Travis Hunter's skill sets, and obviously that paid off, and he won the Heisman Trophy.
Well, write this down. First play of the game, corner blitz for Hunter, sacks Bryce Young. Fumble and Jacksonville, and then he picks it up and scoops and scores. How about that?
Hey, it could happen, but I also think that is a team, and again, I haven't really dove into the Panthers as much as we will next week. But that's a team that, they have J.C. Horn, another player who, when available, is a great corner, but he hasn't been all that available. That's a secondary that I would like to think the Jaguars believe they can take advantage of with the likes of Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. And so maybe that's a game where he does play more 70-30, 80-20, 90-10 wide receiver to defensive back. And then the next week, perhaps it's more 50-50, 60-40 defensive back. Again, that's just pure speculation. Do not take with that and run with it as the game plan for the Jaguars.
Again, Mia O'Brien with us from ESPN National Radio. We talked about this every year, but I guess we could say this for every team. But this year, once again, Trevor Lawrence, where is he mentally right now? And, what are you expecting out of him this year under Liam Cohen and Grant Ozinski, the offensive coordinator? How are they gelling thus far in your opinion?
Yeah, I think that it's going to work because I believe, and again, this is just from knowing Trevor the person the last 5 years, I believe in Trevor Lawrence as a competitor. I just think he's the type of person that he wants to be challenged, but he truly has never been. He's been challenged in all the wrong ways. He's been challenged by Urban Meyer and the inefficiencies and the ineptitude of that regime. He's been challenged by a head coach who, for lack of a better term, decided that whatever he ran in 2017 was good enough in 2023 and 2024, handed the reins off to his, albeit adopted pseudo son, and said, you figure it out because we're running the same offense that won us a Super Bowl and we will be fine. When in reality, the league changes 10% each year. And you had a quarterback who, of course, by nature, he's the type of guy that he just wants to get along with everyone. Like, again, this is someone who I go back to after his rookie year. I'm at the Players Championship. I had an inside the ropes pass. He and Marissa, his wife, are walking with Carly Lloyd, big soccer player from New Jersey, like myself growing up. So I'm like, I'm going to go walk with them because why not? And I want to catch up with Trevor. And not only, like, when you just talk to Trevor one-on-one, like, you would think he's just this average dude, like your friend. But I mentioned to him that I had a mentee shadowing me. And in the middle of a swarm of thousands of people, he goes over to the ropes and starts talking to Noah Schlickstuff. Like, that's just who Trevor, and like, not because, he's, make a wish or whatever. He knew who he was, and he was like, hey, heard you're from Iowa. Like, that's just who Trevor is. Like, he's the type of person he would talk to the wall over there if you told him you need to go talk to the wall. And so that's why I think that for Trevor, much like Liam Cohen has talked about how he went to Los Angeles and got a PhD in coaching from Sean McVay, this is Trevor Lawrence actually having to take graduate level courses after getting, as my mother likes to say about myself, getting a degree in fun when it came to his bachelor's at Clemson. And so that's where you can see in his, like, he is actually being challenged. He's enjoying it, but you can tell it's uncomfortable because he is having to relearn many of the things and the bad habits that he has picked up, especially over the last 4 years in the NFL. And so I love, and I think I may have said this on your program last time I joined, but if not, I've been saying it on everybody's. Derek Klassen on the Athletic Football Show, in my opinion, made the right comp to what this is. It is not Liam Cohen and Baker Mayfield in Tampa. It is not Dave Canales saving Baker in Tampa prior to Liam Cohen arriving. It's not Liam Cohen reinvigorating and making Will Levis a second-round pick at Kentucky. This is when Kyle Shanahan got to Atlanta and became the offense coordinator for the Falcons with Matt Ryan. The first year they went 7-8-1. There were a lot of growing pains. There was a lot of friction because Matt Ryan was not as willing to change to what Kyle Shanahan wanted him to be. And then the next year they went to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying the Jaguars are going to go to the Super Bowl next year, but that is the transition that I see as much more likely, because at that point in time, Matt Ryan had been in the league since 2008. That was 2016. Trevor's been in the league for 4 years, not even the 7-8 years that Ryan had been in the league at that point. But Matt Ryan essentially had to learn an entirely different language, and he's been very transparent since then that he pushed back on what Kyle Shanahan was selling. And he said, "You're wrong." Trevor Lawrence is not saying Liam Cohen is wrong, but he is having to manage that learning curve in the same exact way that someone who went on to be an NFL Offensive Player of the Year in the MVP conversation for several years over with Kyle Shanahan as his play caller. It's the same exact process. And so, and it's obviously, it's a similar offense. It's evolved, but it's from that McVay-Shanahan tree that since it emerged in the early 2010s in Washington, the Jaguars are one of only a handful of NFL teams that has stubbornly refused to pluck from that tree on the offensive side of the ball. It has confounded me and so many others. I'm just glad they're finally giving it an old-fashioned try.
I want to switch me real quick. I know you got to get out of here to college football, if I may. I don't know if you're working Saturday or not. Do you? Would you? If you're not, were you planning on going to Florida State, Alabama?
No, I am not. We're going to be locked in over here. So yeah, enjoying the first Saturday of week one of the full college football slate.
Absolutely. So are you still, your duties allowing you to cover any Seminole games or Gator games this year by chance?
Not necessarily on a beat reporting basis. There's a good chance that at some point in time I will, but not on a beat reporting basis per se. But obviously I still keep tabs on all those outfits.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. Who's got more pressure on him, you think, this year, team wise? Not even just team, but coaching wise, Norvell or Napier?
Personally, I think Billy does, and that's maybe a hot take given what Mike Norvell and a 2-win Florida State outfit went through last year. But ultimately, I just think that the expectations for Florida are so sky high that if they were to falter, and again, it's unfortunate because the reality is DJ Lagway has been amazing when he's been healthy. Yep. We don't know how healthy he really is because of so many behind the scenes reports over the last 12 months. And so that's where, like, God forbid that kid goes down and Florida wins 3 or 4 games. I mean, no offense to Napier. I know he's got a pretty extensive buyout too, but like Norvell's buyout makes it where like they would have to win 1 or 2 games again. And I know there are people out there in Tallahassee who believe if they go 6-6, he's going to get canned. I don't think so, because I do think that that is a program that people need to, yes, I know it was 6-7 years ago, but you need to go back to what got them in this position in the first place with Willie Taggart and the missteps that were taken there, the academic probation, the money that they have had to pour into that program to climb out of that hole, to get recruits to want to come to Florida State. I'm very fascinated by the combination of Norvell and Gus Malzahn, perhaps mostly because I covered Thomas Castellanos when he was in high school at Ware County High School here in Southeast Georgia, Northeast Florida. And so I've known Tommy since 2018 when I first got here, when he was a true freshman. And so for me, it's fascinating because I remember through his whole recruiting process, him telling me how much he loved Gus and Gus loved him. And that's why he started at UCF. And so I'm very interested to see how that combination plays out of those two reuniting, but also Mike Norvell being willing to give the reins to an offense coordinator who needs the autonomy that Gus does.
And I saw a lot of Castellanos, and I have my buddy John Meter-Perrell, who's the voice of BC football, and went through the whole thing and all that unfortunate nonsense went up there. But I do think he opened his mouth when he blabbed about a month ago and said that crap about Alabama. I know he backtracked. Beep, beep. I know he backtracked on it though. That could really come back to bite him in the ass. You know that.
Yeah, but these are kids. They listen. They all know. They know they're signing up for it. Then they'll cry about it later.
Yeah.
But this is what they got to do. They all want clicks, man. That's the world we live in.
That's it. Mia, you're the best. Thanks so much. Go to your yoga TV workout and probably another television station, Ron. So you're on ESPN Radio tomorrow night, 7 to 10.
Yes, 7 to 10 tomorrow, and then to be determined what my schedule will look like over the weekend. And then on Sunday night, I am calling another Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp game on the FanDuel Sports Network for the Miami Marlins.
Oh, sweet. Excellent. Man, you're a busy young lady. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All the best. Continued success, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much.
Adios, amigos.
All righty. There she goes. Mia O'Brien, just like that. One of the best in the biz, covering not just the Jacksonville Jaguars, nor is her crap. I forgot to ask her about nachos and a nap guy, Micah Parsons. That's, by the way, I'm copywriting that, as I've said, doing my best to make T-shirts, nachos and a nap with the Micah Parsons image on it. What do you think, Angel? Work?
I think so. Why not? It'd be some great hoodies with, I don't know if you can have Micah's picture up there or Mika's picture up there, but, you can give it a shot.
That's great for her. So she's on 7 to 10, and then we'll see tomorrow night. Got to get her on Sportsmanlike on the television show. And I know she's going to be. I know she will be. There's no doubt in my mind. All right, what else is coming up on the network today? I think we covered a whole lot. We'll have more tomorrow on the 53-man roster, as everybody in the NFL has cut down day today, 4 o'clock by 4 o'clock. So as soon as the show is over, I'm sure a ton of people, between 9 and noon is when a lot of this crap happens. A lot of it's happened already, but there'll be more between 9 and noon. What else is coming up on the network today?
I do believe, Duncan Dad may not be back today. I know he was feeling a little sore, so he may not be back. Other than you guys can always go back, take a look at the replays. Always watch the replay that we post up there, pardon me, on the website, because sometimes YouTube likes to take things down, or they say it's partially blocked and it's because of music, even though we are licensed here at the station. But sometimes they'll trim something out. So always take a look back at the replay of the day. Therefore, you guys don't miss a thing. You can hear the whole thing completely through. You can also listen into the audio that I upload. That you guys can get it from any of your favorite places where you download your audio. So Spotify, Apple, we are on every single one, Pandora. And you can always hear the Pete Shepard Show, and you guys can go back and listen to it there as well. And again,
we're on Odyssey, obviously. A big announcement yesterday, Odyssey, and we are now on Odyssey, so that is fantastic. And even if there's not live shows on, there's other programming on, past shows and stuff. So there's always something on the Odyssey app for the Coastal Sports Digital Network. Make sure you like it. If like I said, we will never charge anything. There's never ever going to be charged. Everything is free. On the app, when you download, you may have to sign up with an email initially to do, but that's it. Nothing is charged. Everything is free, and you'll see Coastal Sports Network up there. As Angel said, we are proud to be, I think, the only digital sports radio station on the Odyssey app. That's something.
Yeah, we are the only one. Everyone else is terrestrial. We are the only digital, 100% digital sports platform on Odyssey. So, yeah, that's a monumental feat.
That's great. All right, buddy. Thanks so much. I will be in touch later on for tomorrow's guest, which I'm sure will include Bill Sparrows from the Boston Herald, great columnist, and from senior betting analyst from bookies.com. Maybe Meter Perel and some other surprises as we get ready for week 1 in college football. Some huge games coming up. And also, we will recap everything that happened in the NFL and in Major League Baseball tomorrow. Thanks to Mia O'Brien from ESPN Radio. Thanks to Hector Longo from the Eagle Tribune. And thanks to all of you for your continued support here on the Pete Shepard Show. I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great and safe rest of your Tuesday. See ya.